sometimes you need a new laptop, but you don't need a new laptop. Like maybe your kid took your laptop sledding because they ran out of sleds one winter, or you broke your laptop as you moved for the 15th time in college. But you need a laptop to replace a broken laptop, but you don't want to shell out the money to buy a brand new laptop, and you still want something that's going to do decent work, but maybe you don't need like a ton of performance out of it. Maybe this isn't your main work computer. Maybe you just use it for like internet browsing and basic project management or something like that. What can you look for that is a used laptop that's going to give you really good price to performance, but isn't going to break the bank? And that's what we're talking about today. So there are really only two laptops that I would recommend, or two kinds of laptops that I would recommend buying on the used market, just being able to like flat out say these are going to be good laptops without having to worry about anything. And those are the MacBook Pro and the Lenovo IdeaPads. Really quick, I feel really dumb because the entire video I'm saying IdeaPad and I actually mean ThinkPad. The Lenovo ThinkPads are the ones you should get, not the IdeaPads. Those are newer laptops and they're not business class. So get the Lenovo ThinkPads. Both of these have long held traditions of being really well built, really well designed, and really well executed laptops in terms of their price and their performance and just overall quality. Now on the Mac side of things, you're gonna wanna make sure that you buy at least a 2012 or newer MacBook. And you're thinking to yourself, that is a 9-year-old MacBook Pro. That is an insanely old MacBook Pro. Yeah, it is, but the MacBook Pro from 2012 was really well optimized, and it still has hardware that's pretty darn capable today. Now, it's not going to do anything like 4K video editing or anything like that, and you're not gonna get like really awesome gaming performance off of this thing, but it'll do streaming, so it'll be good for entertaining the kids. It'll do some light photo editing and general file management. It'll do internet browsing, word processing, Excel editing, everything like that. It's going to handle just fine. And so it's actually still a really capable laptop as far as like general purposes go, even in 2021, 9 years after it came out. And then as far as the Lenovo IdeaPads go, they're not quite as well designed, so the design doesn't hold up as well. They kind of look a little bit chunkier the older you get, and they just seem to, I don't know, they look like old laptops, which they are, but Apple has found ways to design their laptops in such a way that they look timeless. Even some of the older like 2007, 2008 MacBooks, they still look pretty good, even if they're, super thick and, super heavy. They still look pretty good. And the same isn't true on Lenovo's side of things, but they are really capable machines. So what you're going to want to look for Lenovo is just make sure that it's 2015 or newer. Now, there are a couple of caveats with these. With all laptops, you can spec them up, meaning put better parts in them, or you can spec them down. And so that's the case with these, and you're not always going to get the best specs when you're just blindly buying a MacBook Pro or blindly buying a Lenovo IdeaPad. So there are a few things that you're going to want to make sure that you get. You're going to want to make sure that you get an i5 processor in there or an i7 processor in there. So just make sure that, somewhere in that title it says Intel Core i5 or Intel Core i7, or it has that i5 or i7 in there somewhere. And then you're also going to want to make sure that it has 8 or 16 gigabytes of RAM. That's something that you're going to want to make sure is in the title as well, or at least in the description of whatever it is you're buying, whether it's online or over Facebook Marketplace or something like that. And then the last thing you're going to want to make sure that you get is an SSD. Some of these laptops, that we were still switching from from mechanical hard drives to SSDs, and so you're just going to want to make sure that the laptop you buy has an SSD. So other than that, these laptops are going to be pretty awesome performers. Both of them were business class laptops in their time, and so they were designed with the idea of doing really, really demanding tasks for 2012 or 2015 or whenever you buy your laptop or wherever you're buying your laptop from. Now, most laptop manufacturers, in fact, all of them, are designing their laptops for the year they came out. And so it's important to get a business class laptop if you're buying used, because that means that you're buying a laptop where the performance was really, really good when it first came out. And so maybe it's not quite as good, but it's still okay. You know, whereas if you buy a laptop that had just okay performance 5 years ago, that performance is gonna be really terrible now. So that's what I would recommend, is the Lenovo IdeaPads or the MacBook Pros from 2012 on, or for 2015 on for the Lenovo IdeaPad. And that should be a pretty safe bet. Of course, there are other laptops out there, and if you know what you're doing, you can buy some really capable laptops, but as a general rule of thumb, I'd stick to those two brands because they're gonna be really safe bets. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.